We asked, nay, we begged for the Cleveland Guardians to do something at the trade deadline.
And oh boy, did they do something.
Batting, pitching, you name it, the Cleveland Guardians added to their roster in a clear attempt to make a strong push come October and playoff baseball. If you're a Guardians fan, you should be ecstatic of what we just saw at the deadline.
This was a hell of a Monday, and it really started over the weekend. And I'm going to read these trades in kind of reverse order because of it, because Craig Yoho and Blake Perkins was the first move for, rest in peace, my guy Bo Naylor. Actually, I think that's a pretty good situation for Bo Naylor, so it's fine. And Cody Hewer, I think I said that right. But then the trades trickled in masses on Monday. We had, of course, Jo Adell early on for Jacob Cozart, a prospect I did like, but I will take Jo Adell for him any day of the week. By the way, props on us for calling the Jo Adell trade as well. We also got Nathaniel Lowe. That happened. Who cares? On to the next trade, too. Forrest Griffin for Will Dion, Josh Hartle, Nick Mitchell, and I'm not even going to try to butcher that prospect's name. It doesn't matter because we added pitching, we added batting, and life feels good here in Cleveland.
It certainly does. Let's just jump in and start with Joe Adell because we talked about him already. This is a prospect that Cleveland was very clear in what they were after, and that was a power bat. Now, don't get me wrong, he has his downside. I talked about it a little bit. And by the way, this means that Juan Brito is also gone because of this trade. But let's talk about Joe Adell himself because there is no team in baseball, perhaps, that needs offense more than the Guardians. They are the league's worst OPS. So, OPS is that combination of on base percentage and slugging percentage, basically, the team's ability to get on base and to hit for power. And the Cleveland Guardians are the worst in the league, hence why they need good pitching. But Adell is somebody that can address that. He's very good against left-handers. Listen, he struggled a little bit this year and he chases pitches. Don't get me wrong. He's been a little underwhelming, but last year he was excellent. He was 115 OPS in the plus range there, and he can get back to that, in my opinion. He wasn't striking out as badly as he is this year. So what we're seizing on here is an ability that's in there. Obviously, the Angels aren't a very good organization. They didn't develop him very well. But what we're seizing on, we know he has it in him. We just need him to step up and make some of those big moments happen.
Yeah, and when you look at his home run total, he leads the Cleveland Guardians in home runs now. So
Yeah.
for anybody that is giving grief of people being excited for this move because he is a shaky bat, I'm talking to you, Mister Whoever you are on Twitter. I don't even remember your name, but this is a move that gets you excited because he has the power and the ability within him to go out and do things for the Cleveland Guardians. Not to mention that we also have control. I know it's a little shaky because we don't know what's going to happen with the lockout, control of Joe Adell into the 2027 season as well. So this move got me excited. And this move, honestly, with the Yoho pick, and I'll put his stats up real quick too, the Yoho pickup with Bo Naylor getting traded out, I thought that was going to be it because that is what the Cleveland Guardians trade deadline kind of feels like. In fact, Joe Adell kind of felt like a bigger grasp than what we're used to at the trade deadline for our Cleveland Guardians. But I was wrong. And I was right to want to be greedy and see more and more and more.
Yeah, because we got more. We certainly did. Let's go into pitching since you have him up already. We add not one, but two pitchers, both a closer and a starting pitcher. Noah, this outfit, this pitching staff is looking mighty scary.
It is mighty scary indeed. Yoho has already played a game for the Cleveland Guardians. That Sunday game where there was the scuffle and whatnot, he came in and played and pitched an inning and looked pretty damn good. But the main piece, the big move, the thing everyone's most excited about in terms of the pitching department is Foster Griffin, who was an all-star this year, who has a record of 12-3, who has an ERA of a 3.06, 116 strikeouts on the season. We have ourselves another damn good starting pitcher here in Cleveland now. And that makes this starting lineup that I thought was actually pretty good for the most part. If you're thinking 1 through 5 and then shortening it to 3 in the playoffs, even damn better.
Yeah, let's be clear, they are good. They have the 6th best ERA in the league right now. Griffin was one of 3 All-Stars to come out of the Nationals, and you posted his ERA, etcetera. He was 2.77 up until that All-Star game, through 110 and a third innings. So he is a guy, not a guy that you think of as a starter typically, because his fastball is like 91, 92, something like that. But he strikes out batters. He has 7 pitches. He has really good command. And like I said, he's joining guys like Gavin Williams and Parker Messick that have just lit the world on fire. I gave him a little bit of grief, but I should shout out Tanner Bybee has been improving too, which means that this starting rotation, it is worthy of October baseball. Now, the problem for the Guardians has been that we lose games like 1-0, 2-0, because we can't put up runs. That's been our Achilles heel for a very long time now. So we need offensive production. Obviously, we made the moves to do that. But from a pitching standpoint, you couldn't ask for much better.
It's interesting to note too because Foster Griffin actually came from one of the Japanese leagues before as well. Came back over and started the season obviously with the Nationals, and now we get him when he is looking his best at a ripe age of 31 as well. It's not like he is a spring chicken, so he is peaking late into his career, but we will gladly take it into our rotation here in Cleveland.
Yeah, a 30-year-old rookie in the MLB, which is a pretty cool feel-good story. Obviously, he's been one to watch. Now, he's not a game one kind of guy in October, but there's more than enough to suggest like he's going to be a playoff starter in this rotation, for us, assuming, of course, that we make it to October baseball, because that's not guaranteed. We are still trailing in the division.
We are still trailing as of right now, but the wild card is within reach, and obviously the division is too. The White Sox did make some moves today, but I know we have more to talk about. I'm just feeling so damn good about where we're at with the Cleveland Guardians right now because it's the first time in quite a long time that I feel like we all sat here and pounded and begged and pleaded for the Guardians to bring in talent and get rid of some of these prospects that are log jammed down in our minors and make a run for it in a year where you can make a run for it with where the AL is, with the looming lockout and whatnot. And they did just that. And I want to talk more about that with you, Erik. But first, let's take a break and listen to a word from our sponsor.
At the Office is brought to you by Rambler Reserve.
And we're wearing the hats right now.
We are wearing the hats right now, and honestly, this might be one of the best looking things I've put on my head in years.
Rambler Reserve is a Cleveland apparel brand based on history for people who love this city and just can't shut up about it.
So, us?
Us, exactly. Whether it be hats, tees, hoodies, you're going to the game, or you're going to the Muni lot. It's perfect apparel for any Cleveland fan out there.
If your friends say you ramble too much about sports, just own it. Head on over to ramblerreserve.com and use code ATO10 to get 10% off your order.
That's ATO10. ATO like at the office 10, ramblerreserve.com.
As these trades were going down, almost all of them were wrapped up. The day was pretty much over. And Noah, you were texting me saying, I just want one more bat.
One more, man. I wanted one more. And then I walk into Ohio City Burrito. I grab myself some dinner. I walk back out. I sit down in my car and I look at my phone, and the Cleveland Guardians make another move with the Reds, a team, a pairing that I predicted. Not this move exactly, but it was a team and a pairing that I thought could happen. Nathaniel Lowe comes to the Cleveland Guardians, a former World Series champion, batting 266 with 12 home runs on the year. And I was ecstatic because, Erik, me and you were talking about how crazy it would be if they added not one but two bats, and then another starter, and then a reliever, and then they actually went out there and did it. I felt like a kid in a candy store. I felt like Santa read my wish list, and I was a good boy this year because I got everything I wanted and then some.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Let me just be clear. Like, I like what we did. I like our additions. But we have like a platoon first base situation going on here. So I don't know what they're going to do. Like, are these guys actually going to see enough pitches in a Guardians uniform to make a difference and actually be able to string something together for us? That's my big question. Now, don't get me wrong. They're replacing guys like Kyle Manzardo, probably Reese Hoskins. I know he's still up, but that have severely underperformed. And Lowe crushes righties. We got Adell that crushes lefties. Like, in theory, we're adding guys that can make a difference here, right? And for the Reds, they clearly turned 1 year of Lowe into a lottery ticket that paid off for them. So my question is, are we actually going to get the production out of these two that we need in order to, like, we're not quite chips all in because we weren't like giving up the farm for Scooble or something like that, but we're chips half shoved in. We're trying to make a run at this thing.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's chips half shoved in. I mean, for the Guardians, for what the market looked like, for what's going on, obviously we didn't go out and get Scooble, right? And that's what we would love to be able to go do. But we made moves that we don't make. We are signaling that we feel very, very good about this nucleus and where it's at and where the AL's at and where baseball is could potentially be at in a year to make these kind, like, we haven't had a trade deadline like this since 2016, and I'm not comparing apples to apples when I say that, but in terms of the excitement, in terms of the additions, in terms of what they brought to the table when they could have just stayed packed, because we've been kind of middling, we've been up and down with winning and losing in the last month or so. They did it. They put the chips in and said, we're going to make a run at this thing because we're the Cleveland Guardians and we're good enough with our young core, plus adding some of these older bats, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, and he has the history too. Like you said, former World Series champion with the Rangers. He is a guy that is a former Gold Glove winner, a Silver Slugger Award winner. So he has the talent, certainly. I would agree with you. I think it's even better than 2016. I mean, who did we add? Andrew Miller in 2016, which was
Yeah,
the
right.
big key signing there to go make a push. And obviously that push worked. We won the World Series before the rain delay. So could we make a similar push? Could we hopefully not have a rain delay this time and win a World Series? I don't know. The jury's still out because I don't think we have the offensive production. But you know what? Something magical happens when it's October time because I didn't expect some of the guys then to put in the work that they did either. Dealing with things like a Trevor Bauer sliced finger. And I mean, think of the things we had to deal with. So you
Right.
just never know when it's playoff time. Unfortunately, I think teams like the Dodgers are just too strong. Like I don't see it. But the reason we're making these moves, the American League is not that strong. It's kind of weak. The Central's always kind of weak. Obviously, we still have to catch up with the White Sox, and I think we will. But now is the time to make a move, and I think that Cleveland is as well positioned as anyone could be.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. And I want to remind everybody too, at the end of the day, baseball is a streaky game. It's a lucky game, right? If we're hot and say the Dodgers aren't, even with all the talent, and that's what it ends up being the matchup, right? Like, let's just live in a hypothetical for a second.
Right.
You never know what could happen. And just to be there in that moment and to have the fun in the playoffs. I mean, I think of fondly the playoff series where we went and we played the Yankees and we ended up only winning one of the games in that series. But I think of fondly teams like that. I think this team is better. I think this team is better equipped. I think this team has plenty of time to get to a point where they mesh and gel and move forward together, and we don't have to worry as much about that kind of thing. And it just overall gets me excited for the next couple months of baseball. I normally cancel my ballpark pass when it comes to September because I'm locked into football, but I got that reoccurring charge already signed up for, booked on in September. I'm watching baseball all damn summer long. And then I'm going to the playoffs too and having a blast as we last year, even though we watched them lose.
And perhaps most notably, yeah, we were at that playoff game together. Perhaps most notably, New York didn't do much. They added a bat, but they did not add to their bullpen. Houston gave it in. They didn't add anybody. They really needed pitching. Detroit packed it in. Obviously, the team that knocked us out of the playoffs last year, they gave up two of their starting pitchers. They got some young talent in return, don't get me wrong, but it certainly seems like the American League is up for grabs right now.
It does, and it makes you feel good about everything that the Guardians did and everything that the Guardians can do moving forward, especially when it comes to some of these new players. I want to ask you real quick, Erik, out of all these moves, was there a favorite in your mind? Because I didn't even get to razz you yet. You weren't huge on Jo Adell when we talked about this on Friday. Now, obviously, Jo Adell's a Guardian. I was high on it, but what was your favorite move, and are you back on the Jo Adell train now?
I'm on the Guardians train for sure. I mean, the downsides that I mentioned about Joe Adell, and I was moving towards positive with you on that
At
show as
the end,
well.
yes, I'm giving you a hard time.
But the downsides are still there. I mean, he's struggling a little bit this year. He's striking out at a really high rate. He's not a good defender. I know SportsCenter will tell you otherwise because he had 3 home run robs in a single game,
Grab
but
off the
he's
wall.
not
Yep.
he's not a good defender though. But my favorite move, and I was smiling because I was going to ask you the exact same thing next, but my favorite move by far is Foster Griffin. And maybe it's because I was a pitcher myself, so I really value that. But we now have, at minimum, 3 solid starters, in my opinion, perhaps even 4. Like, we have the depth in the arms. Adding a closer doesn't hurt either. We have the depth in the bullpen. I really think that that's how you go far. Because what Jo Adell does well is he does get the ball in play. He is a power hitter. He gets those high flies. If we could get people on base, which he doesn't walk a lot, but if we could get other people on base, he can help hit them home, as can our existing guys. And when you're talking about, I mean, how often have we seen it in the playoffs where they're low scoring matches and we just can't get runs across? Well, we have the pitching now to hold our opponents to. The one downside about Foster, he does give up the home run ball a little bit. But set that aside, I do think that we have a team now on both sides of the ball that could make an impact.
Yeah, and another note that we didn't even touch on, and then I'll talk about my favorite move in a second. And it's not Jo Adell, even though I alluded to it being Jo Adell because I called it a little bit with my trade, even though we won't talk about the mock trade I put together for that because I completely overpaid for him, but it's totally fine. Uh Saccone or Cantillo, one of them's going to the bullpen, which
Hmm.
helps that too. So we basically get a 2-for-1 in the bullpen, and we don't have to worry as much about Hunter Gaddis being shaky. God forbid Matt Festa. We add, I almost forgot his name. I don't know how I could. Yoho, however you say it. It doesn't matter. Craig. Um,
Woohoo.
Yoo-hoo indeed. Like that is another piece of this that could make it very exciting because you had a guy that was starting for most of the year now being like a long setup type of reliever in that bullpen that you can come in and rely on for an inning or two as opposed to having to eat up all the different arms that we have there. That's exciting. And I think that's why I lean with you when it comes to Foster Griffin being my favorite too because it opens up the bullpen possibilities for the Cleveland Guardians so much more because he's in there. And he might even challenge Bybee for that third playoff starting spot if they go to a typical 3-man rotation. Like, we don't know yet. We'll see how the rest of the season plays off, but he could end up being a hell of a rental for us if everything continues like how it did for him with Washington.
And if Cantillo does go to the pen, that curveball out of there, I'm not like disappointed in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not disappointed with it at all. You think it's going to be Cantillo, right? It probably is Cantillo that would go to the pin.
It's one of those 2, but I think it will be Cantillo. But I think
Yeah,
it's
me
6
too.
and 1, half a dozen the other somewhat, you know?
Yeah, I kind of group them together in my mind at this point, and maybe
Right.
that's wrong of me, and maybe I'm just being a little bit too casual of a fan or a commentator when I say so because they're the back end of our rotation. But with that being said, let us know what you think of the Cleveland Guardians deadline moves in the comment section below. If you're feeling froggy about it, leave us a voicemail 216-260-3433. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're covering all things Browns training camp, of course, Guardians moving forward into the postseason, into the March for October. And of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers, if they ever actually do something and sign one of these forwards that have been rumored to us, it's going down all here on At the Office.
On that note, the debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.